The female lead had no idea. Right after I gave birth, I dabbed a little rouge behind my daughter's ear. So when I woke up and found no rouge behind her ear, I knew right then she'd switched my baby. So I immediately called in my most trusted maid, Shen Kui. Go grab the cooking oil, pour it all the way around the outside of the house, then take these cash boxes and hide them in the storage room. Shen Kui was totally confused, but she did it anyway. Yes, my lady. She moved fast, grabbed the oil jug, and poured it slowly along the base of the walls. The second the oil was down, I pulled a fire starter out of my sleeve and tossed it without a second thought. There was a crackling sound, and the flames shot up instantly. I watched cold-eyed as the fire greedily licked up the rafters. Then I turned to Shen Kui behind me. Grab that useless baby, and let's go. Here's the thing, though. Of all the days, the female lead had sent every single servant out of my courtyard. Well, that actually saved me a lot of trouble. So the two of us slipped out under cover of darkness and headed straight for Luo Qinghei's courtyard. Just as I expected, the massive flames quickly sent the whole estate into a panic. Next thing you know, Luo Qinghei's door was being shoved open from outside. She didn't even stop to put on her outer robe, just came bursting out in a full-on panic. What? Han Yingshui's courtyard. How did it just catch fire? Her maid Auntie Guo was scrambling behind her, grabbing a brocade coat and throwing it over her shoulders. My lady, be careful, you'll catch a chill. But Luo Qinghei wasn't having any of it. She was stomping her feet in frustration. Why is everyone just standing there? Go put out the fire. The servants heard that and immediately grabbed buckets and basins and scrambled off toward my courtyard. Right at that moment, her eyes locked onto the wet nurse hiding in the corner. Why are you still standing there? Go help them! The wet nurse hesitated, glancing toward the room. But the young master, she didn't even get to finish before Luo Qinghei cut her off. The young master is inside. What could possibly happen to him? If you hold up the firefighting, you'll pay for it. The wet nurse flinched hard. She didn't dare say another word. She grabbed a basin and bolted. Only then did Luo Qinghei turn, impatient as ever. Auntie Guo, help me over there. I need to see what's going on. The two of them rushed over as well. In the blink of an eye, the whole courtyard was completely empty. All that was left were the lanterns under the eaves, swaying in the night breeze, casting an eerie glow. Shen Kui and I slipped in silently under the cover of darkness. In the moonlight, I crossed the room in a few quick strides. There it was, an ornate carved cradle right in the center of the room. My heart shot up into my throat. With trembling hands, I folded back the baby's ear and found nothing. Completely clean. Not a single trace of rouge. Shen Kui's voice was shaking as she whispered, "That's not the young miss, is it?" I forced myself to stay calm and quickly unwrapped the swaddle. The candlelight revealed a baby boy, a perfectly fine little baby boy. Shen Kui completely lost it. How is it a boy? Is this the baby Lady Luo gave birth to today? Then where did they take our young miss? My mind was racing. I rewrapped the boy and put him back in the cradle, then started frantically tearing the room apart. I was sure Luo Qinghei had stashed my baby somewhere else in here. And then a faint barely there sound suddenly drifted into my ears. It was broken and weak, like a tiny kitten whimpering. I froze, ears up, listening hard. Shen Kui crept up nervously. My lady, did you hear something? My eyes lit up. I followed the sound and bolted out of the room. It was coming from the woodshed, the most remote one on the property. I took a deep breath and shoved open the creaking wooden door. In the moonlight, I could see a pile of dry hay, and on top of it, a beat-up old cradle just sitting there. There were faint sounds coming from inside. My daughter had been tossed in here like garbage. I lunged forward and scooped the baby out of the cradle with shaking arms. When I pulled back her tiny ear, there it was, that familiar red rouge mark, clear as day. Shen Kui nearly cried out, "It is her! It's really her! It's really the young miss!" I shot her a sharp look. She caught herself immediately. She swiftly took the decoy baby we brought and quickly swapped the two babies' swaddles and clothes. Once it was done, I finally let myself lean down and kiss my daughter's forehead. My eyes went red instantly. Here's the wild part. My daughter, who had been crying and fussing this whole time, went completely still the moment she was in my arms. She drifted off to sleep almost right away, as if she somehow knew she was finally back with her real mom. Shen Kui looked around at that drafty, broken-down woodshed and started shaking with rage. How could they do this to the young miss? It's freezing cold at night out here, and they just threw the baby in a pile of hay? If my lady hadn't found her in time, the young miss might have. I gently put my hand on Shen Kui's shoulder and lowered my voice. Now is not the time to cry. We need to move before they get back. That snapped Shen Kui back to reality. She nodded and carefully placed the decoy baby back into the broken cradle in the woodshed. Then without wasting another second, we vanished into the darkness and disappeared from that wretched courtyard. Back at my own courtyard, lit up by the fire, everything was pure chaos. The servants had lined up, passing buckets hand to hand, splashing water onto the raging flames. Water and embers clashed together as sparks burst through the night. Lady Hu stood outside the gate, stone-faced, her expensive robes whipping in the heat. When she saw Luo Qinghei rushing over, she frowned and stepped forward. "Jinghe, you just gave birth. What are you doing out here in this wind? Get back inside and rest." Luo Qinghei's face was pale, fine beads of sweat across her temple, but the panic in her eyes was genuinely hard to watch. I heard sister-in-law's courtyard caught fire. I just couldn't stay put. Her eyes kept darting toward the blaze. Her fingers twisted tightly together inside her sleeves. Her own flesh and blood was still in there after all. "Where is she? Is the baby okay?" Her voice was trembling and she couldn't hide it. Auntie Li nearby quickly chimed in. The fire had just started when we found the main room completely empty. The second lady and the young miss must have already gotten out safely. Luo Qinghei let out a breath and her shoulders finally dropped a little. But Lady Hu let out a cold snort, her face full of contempt. What an absolute disaster of a person. She managed to burn her whole courtyard down just by having a baby. This perfectly good house totally ruined now. She looked around and said sharply, "Something this big happens. And not a single servant is around? Are you looking for me, mother-in-law? A cool, calm voice suddenly came from the shadows. Everyone turned to look. There I was, walking toward them with a baby in my arms. In the moonlight, my face was even paler than usual. Shen Tui followed behind me, calm and composed. In her hands was a delicate little hand warmer. When the fire broke out, there was so much smoke that I was afraid it would get to the baby. So I took shelter in Yuan's courtyard for a bit. Luo Qinghei's eyes went straight to the carefully wrapped bundle in my arms, and the faintest little smirk crept onto her face. Lady Hu spotted me, and her expression turned sour. Your courtyard was perfectly fine. How did it just catch fire? Was it your people being careless? Leaving behind a spark that set the whole place ablaze? I honestly have no idea what happened. I had just given birth when I realized every single servant and maid had left the courtyard. They said they were needed to help elsewhere in the house. Shen Tui was the only one left to take care of me. She couldn't exactly leave to go check on the courtyard, so I suppose that must have been when the spark got loose.